I don't wait for like my boss to tell me about a data point. Like I'm tracking my own stuff so I can get better. So Tampa Bay Rays had an inbound phone loop, and how it worked, there's like 12 of us on this phone loop. When a lead came in, if you were on the phone, it would go to the next person. And so after the first season I was there, I mapped every inbound call that led to a sale. And what I did is I found these little pockets where nobody called in. It was like, kind of right before lunch, later in the day when most people are kind of working in meetings, like 2:00, right before people go home and they're wrapping up, it was like 4:00. There's like 3 or 4 points during the day that I found nobody called in. So, okay, this phone system tree is set up to skip people when they're on calls. Why don't I just make all my cold calls in those blocks of when nobody calls in and just get all the inbound? And that's what happened for about 2 weeks. I literally sat there and I did a scatter plot. I mapped it all and I found these little chunks again with my own data. And I'm sorry, the data of the organization. I went and looked, I went and found it. And I cleaned up. And my peers started to get pissed off. I literally showed them the data. I showed my fellow sellers the data that I was using and why I was doing it. And most of them still didn't do anything. And so, my friends, you can do things based on gut or intuition, which is good. I'm all for a little bit of that. Or you can do things based on data. So again, if you are a seller, you need to know these 3 metrics. Maybe churn, again, if you're a seller, you might want to understand how your deals are faring. Like, are they churning? Are they not churning? Because that could impact your ability to get a referral or a customer later. But just think about knowing your own metrics. Every seller out there needs to know their own sales metrics. Every sales leader, you need to know this for your team. Efficiency, how efficient are we at moving people through the process holistically? Conversion rates, what percent of people are moving? And then if you deal with churn, what are the leading indicators of churn and how can we reduce those?